Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Beaneater Buzz. I'm Jordan Hunt again, back here with my friend Colleen McGuire.
Hi, everyone.
We have real baseball finally, so that's fun. It wasn't it wasn't a great weekend for the Braves. It wasn't a terrible weekend for the Braves. You actually predicted last week they'd go 2-2.
I did.
So kudos to you. Unfortunately, I was hoping 3-1. I thought that was a safe bet with
it should have been.
It should have been. It should. Yeah, I mean, game one, Max Fried pitched way better than his line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he gave up 8 hits, 5 runs, and 1 walk.
Yeah, it's just he was
Max Fried.
Yeah, well, so his ERA now is 7 point something, but his FIP is 1.97. I think
I saw that. That is crazy.
So it's like you see you see the ERA and you're like, oh wow, he pitched horribly, and that's why it's like, well, watch the game and you'll see. No, he didn't.
Yep.
And it just was so reminiscent. I know a lot of people were saying this of the first series against the Phillies last year.
Except we got
where they were just well, yes, but
I'll take this well above that.
Yeah, but
it was game one last
contact, just finding balls, finding holes, beating the shift, and then it's just like our guys are hitting 100 plus mile an hour bullets.
I mean, smoking balls.
I mean, that grounder that
series.
Olsen hit, I think it was like 113 miles an hour or something.
113 miles an hour. Yep.
Dickerson hit one that I was like sure it was hitting the gap, and somehow it didn't. Warning
that
track
guy,
power.
He got robbed like 4 times in this series. And
he's been so unlucky, and I feel bad because I see people being like, get rid of him. And
I
I'm
know.
like looking at his Savant page. I'm like, no, his expected stats are way, way, way better than what he's actually done. Like, So I'm like, if he keeps doing what he's doing, those results are going to come. And like,
I actually haven't looked at his expected stats yet, but I assume they're up there because the one play that Nick Senzel made, the diving play. But the one on the warning track where he dove and caught last night in that game, it was just like,
come on,
what does this guy got to do to get a hit?
So right now his weighted on base average is 115, but his expected is 389, and his expected slugging is 537.
389 is higher than the weighted on base average that Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson posted last year, which was 379. Okay, 4 games, or actually it's 3 games.
Right. Small sample size, but still just shows you that he's
crushing the baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm not. Yeah, I saw somebody saying, and it was Coop, and I like Coop. Coop's a good guy. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but
I don't know if I do.
Yeah. He was really like pushing the whole Matt Olson train pretty much the whole off season. He had the profile picture of Matt Olson in an A's uniform for like the longest time. I'm sure you saw him. But anyways, he said, yeah, we need to get rid of him and sign Conforto. I'm all for signing Conforto.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love Conforto. That would be a great addition to this team. But don't get rid of Alex Dickerson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to need another left-handed bat. Get rid of Sean Newcomb.
Right. If we're going to get rid of somebody for Conforto,
please
get rid of a different lefty.
Man, I was when that inning kind of unfolded today, I won't get into the details of it and stuff, but my dog was just going nuts. So I was like, all right, well, I'll walk the dog then. So I took him out.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah, he was going crazy. So I was like, all right, I'll walk him, even though it was a big spot. And I thought for sure, okay, Ian's going to get out of this, whatever, 3 runs, whatever. And then I was just looking at Twitter while I was walking the dog, and I saw you tweeted, and here comes Sean Newcomb. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. And then by the time I got back in the house, 3 more runs had scored. It was 5-2 or 5-0 at that point. I was just like, well,
yeah.
Anyways, so we won't get too far into that game. We talked about Max Fried. He had a great start. I thought, Brandon fucking Drury, dude.
He can't. I mean, I saw something. 3 of his 4 homers last year were against the Braves when he was on the Mets. Like, come on.
I don't understand it. He's terrible against everybody else. He's horrible. He's a bench bat. Against us, he's fucking Hank Aaron, dude. Like every time.
I just felt bad for Colin McHugh. It's just like, what? That's a bad welcome.
He made up for it.
Yeah. Oh,
later.
for sure.
Oh man, he made up for it.
But I guess it's it's like your hometown team coming and making your debut opening day. So I'll chalk it up to jitters, especially seeing what he did
probably
today,
had so many family members in the crowd too, and he's just like, there it is.
And again, even the home run wasn't hit that hard.
I didn't really look at as much of the stats on it. I just kind of turned my head and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
somehow carried out. Yeah, that's frustrating. A home run as you'll give up, but
Yep. Some of the we talked about Max giving up a bunch of bleeders through the infield and bloops and stuff. I just wrote down a few little stats here to go along with 179 FIP that he had. He had an average exit velocity in that game of 81 miles per hour, which is down 5 miles per hour from the mark he set last year. And he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. So, he gave up, I've got 4 hits with an exit velo under 70 miles an hour, 69.7, 54.1, 67.1. I know that was like that Joey Votto hit last night. And then 65.2. So yeah, I mean, Max can keep doing that. I'm fine with that. Somebody told me I was making excuses, and I was like, it's not an excuse, it's physics. The harder you hit the ball, the more likely you are to get a hit. The softer you hit the ball, the less likely you are to get a hit. And Max,
it'll even out. That stuff always evens out.
Yeah. Over a full season, that's why you look at FIP, because that tells you.
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who aren't into like the advanced stuff. I'm like, no, but that tells you really what you're actually looking at. So like, I do want to look at that because I'm like, yeah, actually, that's a good thing. That tells me that he pitched well. So,
well, the ironic thing about that is the people who aren't into the expected stuff are also, more times than not, at least, they're the people who hate the shift. Right? Okay, the FIP, that FIP line from Max Fried, if you hate the shift, that should be what you are hammering home. Oh, really? Because if we didn't shift in that game a whole bunch, Max Fried's got a 179 ERA. We probably win that game. Same story for game 2 of the World Series for Max Fried. So I just think that there's some irony there that if they did pay attention to those advanced stats, they'd have some ammo to use against us, but they don't, because they don't pay attention to it. So, just a few other things that happened in that game. We talked about McHugh and the homer. Thornburg, he's been pretty good. A couple Ks in that game.
What I've seen. Yep.
The big one though was Strider.
Oh man, that was the highlight of the game. It was. I mean,
we knew we were losing.
He was blowing them away. Yeah, that was so good.
We knew we were losing that game. We're down 6-1. Strider just comes in and just, we saw him pitch a few times last year. It was never like that. I mean, he had the high velocity, the good slider. He had all that, but he wasn't locating it the way he was on opening night. So.
Yeah. I mean, he was 9 swings and misses. Fried only had 10. I'm looking at baseball. And the pitch velocity, he was the top, of the whole thing.
How many pitches did he throw? 20. I want to say it was like
pitches. 24.
24. I knew it was only like 24 pitches. I wanted to say 25.
16 strikes. Yeah.
16 strikes out of 24 pitches. 9 of those strikes were swing and misses.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
5 strikeouts. I mean, 2 innings. 5.
That dude he's going to be something special, man. He's going to be fun. Offensively, Austin Riley had a good game that day. Big 2-run homer.
Yep. 3 for 4. The homer.
Couple
off the bat, literally.
They were little singles, right? Couple of singles. I know one of them was
I think it was two
single.
Yeah. One was a weird, like, oh, I guess that's a hit. Yeah. And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're kind of like bouncing.
We'll take it. Whatever.
Yeah. We need that luck. Come on.
Austin Riley.
We see the other teams get that luck.
Ironically, Austin Riley does get a lot of that luck. And I think it's because of his approach, because he's learned how to fight off the outer half stuff. So just trying to fight it off, it turns into, gold for him a lot. So, oh God, it just sounded like Chip Carey.
But you could just see the way he lays off the pitches that got him so much in 2020, and his approach at the plate is so good and just so much power. And it's
this series, he's a stud. I mean, what? Hold on, let me look up his actual stat line, because I haven't looked at it fully since he.
Yeah, he hit. I guess that was the. I'm trying to look at the.
He's only got a measly 1221 OPS in this series, and
that's all.
That's it. I think he walked like 3 times. Austin Riley walked 3 times. That shows you.
Yeah,
struck out once. I didn't know that until I just saw that.
He's doing it at the plate for sure.
That's with what him and Matt Olson are doing. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like when Acuna comes back, that 1-2-3 will rival anyone's lineup in baseball.
And our number 4 hitter, he's been pretty good.
He who must not be named. Yeah, we'll get to game 3. But yeah, I haven't. I guess not so much in the game 1 if we're going game by game, but yeah, he did take a walk. I haven't hated what I've seen from him so far. Definitely others who I'm more worried about.
Well, I wrote down a little bit of advanced stuff on Ozuna there. You're right about the walk, and he got out a couple times, but 101 mile per hour fly out and a 104.5
381
mile
feet.
an hour.
He hit one.
Yeah.
So he's getting Yeah.
And then the one that nearly took the pitcher's head off.
Oh yes, that's right.
I was like,
oh my God, that's one of those where you're just like that. The ball caught the pitcher.
Yeah, the ball caught the pitcher. Yeah, it is no way. Like you cannot. It is not humanly possible to react that quickly. Yeah. He just got so lucky. And then Olson drew a couple walks, and then the 113 mile per hour ground out. And then I've got Dansby and Duvall, both struck out 3 times.
Yeah, that was rough.
Could have been a completely different story if either one of those guys gets 2 hits. So, that is what it is. We're at this point now, and whatever. We're 2-2. Could have
we already got over 500.
Yeah. Hey.
We already achieved something we didn't till August.
Chip said that last night. And I was like, Chip, why the fuck would you say that? I was like, as soon as he said it, I was like, God damn it, we're losing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I knew immediately. I was like, there's no way we win tomorrow now because he said that. He's the worst at that, dude. He'll be like
Chip Jenks.
Yeah. Well, hey, but he called Matt Olson's homer today.
He did.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like,
once Matt Olson trots around the bases.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that'd be cool. And then he did it, and I was like, oh, all right. Sometimes it works in our advantage. So yeah, for game 1, there's not a whole lot there. I did also write down that Rosario, Duvall, and Ozuna all walked once, which we just touched on Ozuna. So
yeah, I think for sure. I think it Riley's home run and what Strider did. I think were definitely the highlights of the loss.
And the Reds win 6-3. So it wasn't like we got completely blew out. I mean, it did look that way a little bit early on until Riley hit that absolute tank. Man, I just can't rave enough about what Austin Riley is able to do now.
He's for real. You can tell already. He's legit. He's for real. What he did last year is him.
Yeah, and there were so many people who like coming into this series or this season, they were like, but is what he did real? Well, yeah, you just look at his Baseball Savant page. If you looked at it the first 2 months of the year last year, it was worrisome.
Yeah, he was. I remember that, and they had brought that up earlier in like the series about how it took him so long. And I remember it was a home run he had at Yankee Stadium, and then it kind of just he took off from there. It was like he finally got his extra base hit, so it took him a while.
There was a running joke on Braves Twitter about that because certain
barely got out.
Yeah, it barely got out. It's Yankee Stadium, and every time he would hit a homer, then everybody would be like, guys, come on, don't get too excited. It's only 475 feet.
It barely went over the wall.
Yeah, that was good fun last year. I'm sure we'll see that once or twice this year. Game 2.
Game 2 was a little wild but fun.
Ground chuck. I mean, he was Charlie Morton.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah, I mean, you're just like that. This guy broke his leg in the World Series, and he came back into like better than.
Yeah, I remember people being like, "Oh, Charlie's probably going to miss the first 3 weeks or so," and I was always like, "Why?"
Or he'll be back, but won't be the same because of the leg. I was like, I am not worried.
Like, dude, he's been doing this for years.
Yeah,
and like I don't care what happened to his leg. That curveball is not changing. And even if his fastball lost 3-4 miles an hour, it did not. So we'll just set that straight. But even if it was
sharp, yeah,
his curveball would still be good enough to play with 94 miles an hour. I mean, he was hitting 97, 98. Like he was just mowing him down. 5 Ks, 1 walk.
Yeah.
And he had 2 hits.
Yeah, maybe he got charged with the 2 runs, but one was after Minter came in. So I believe.
I think it was. Yeah. And then
And then Olsen got his first hit, and I missed it because MLB TV is dumb now, and even if you click to watch live, it takes you to the beginning. So I was like, "Oh, why is the game not till 45 minutes?" And then the Braves tweeted like, "Oh yeah, like happy Friday or whatever." I was like, "Wait, what is this?" And then I was like, "Oh, I'm not live," and I haven't been.
We'll see.
So I missed the hit, but
that's what happened to me yesterday, and I was so pissed because it was the ring ceremony, and I'm sitting there, and I even tweeted about it. And I was like, "Says the game starts at 7:20," but I was like, "Why does the screen say that there's still an hour and 30 minutes until first pitch?" So I'm like, this isn't right. Something's not right here. And I didn't realize it until people started sharing pictures and stuff. And I'm like, hey, wait, where is this happening? So yeah, MLB Network or MLB TV, they've got some things to work on this year. If they're going to keep getting my money, I mean, I could just go get, DirecTV and get MLB Extra Innings. And apparently you can watch 8 games at a time with that I didn't know.
That's my thing with MLB TV is like, because on my computer, you can watch 4 games at a time. I'm like, why can't I do that on my TV? Yes. If you go to on your computer, you can pick in if you want to do 1, you could do 1 with 3 on the side, 4 in like a square. There's different ways to do it. You could do 2 side by side. But you can't do that on TV. So like,
know that.
If I'm like, if it's like the Braves are, are done or the Braves are off, I'm like, I want to watch some games. I would love to do that and just have like the 4 games going.
So what I could do ultimately is if I had 2 laptops, I could watch 9 games.
You could. I was doing that on opening day. I had, or maybe it was Friday. I forget, but I had like 4 on my computer screen and 1 on the TV. I was like, yes, this is the life.
See, I thought about putting up a TV in here in my office so that while I'm in here, if there's a game going on or something, I can turn it on and watch it while I'm podcasting or whatever.
Yeah, I have the Rockies.
Well, now I'm just pissed because I didn't know I could do that. Anyways, we'll get back to the game. But
well, now you know. See, now
I'm excited. I now know
going forward, you learn something every day.
Everybody else, if you didn't know, you can apparently watch 4 games at a time on MLB TV. And MLB TV still needs to step that shit up. You should be able to watch as many games as you want. Even if they're
just such tiny windows, that you can't.
I don't care. I'll watch.
I'm watching 15 games.
Yep, 15 games at a time, and I gotta do this number. So yeah, I'm fine with it. Matt Olson.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 going. Yep.
Double. And, I've got that he was robbed of a 4th hit too, which he was, and that was the one that he smoked to center, and it was like.
Yes, I feel
like it felt like, okay, this might be his first homer. Like that's how hard he hit that ball. But I think it got caught like 2 or 3 steps in front of the warning track. But
there were so many freaking balls this series that just died. It was like,
I know. And because it was cold, and it's kind of like the World Series. Like I think Francoeur said that a few times. Feels like the World Series felt. Feels like the World Series felt. And I kept every time he said that, I was like, the ball was flying in the World Series. What are you talking about? But that's probably the dead ball that
it's the ball.
Angers me.
But as long as that means it's the same for both teams, if like
I mean last year apparently it wasn't, and that's a little sketch. Yeah, it's like they just poured a bucket of balls in. They're like, all right, well, this one's going to go 580 feet if you hit it. This one's going to go 320 feet if you hit it. Yeah, so
I don't know which one's it going to be.
Didn't like that. Some other notable stuff from that game. Tyler Matzek pitched, and I made note of this on Twitter. He topped out at 94. I know it's a short spring, but that concerned me a little bit.
Yeah, when he was hitting 100 early last year.
Yeah, I mean, postseason, he was steady 97, 98, 99. I mean, of course, in that game against the Dodgers, there was clearly some adrenaline there because he was 99, 100 the whole time. So, I'm sure, the adrenaline, big spot like that's higher, but I'd still like to see him, to ease my own worries. I'd like to see him 96.
Yeah, I mean, he got it done, but he didn't strike anybody out. So I guess that's something to keep an eye on. But you also don't know if he's just not going full tilt to start the season.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that we just have to remember about this season is that it's not gonna be.
And he also in spring, he had a couple of rough outings in spring too. So who knows what he's looking at and working on and what he's throwing and how. I never know what goes on behind the scenes. So I just see what I see and I'm like, okay, well, hopefully it's nothing to worry about. But he got it done. Will Smith in his 6th inning role got it done. And I was like, this might be a decent role to see him come on.
And then Kenley came in and that didn't go well. Now, to be fair to Kenley,
he did just enough.
Again, some soft hits that fell 2 under 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. Shift beaters and things.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe when Chip was like, oh, and Newcomb's warming up in the bullpen. I was like, Jansen, get this done right now.
Yeah, I was
like, we are not having Newcomb come into this game.
Why the fuck is he the guy?
Why is he our put out the fire guy?
Like, I mean, you had O'Day down there. And I mean,
I forgot about O'Day till yesterday.
I get it. There were some other people, but that they all pitched the night before. But man, I might go back to Colin McHugh in that spot because he only threw 0.1 innings. And
I hope now that after McHugh did what he did today, that sees that, and he's not just like a long relief guy. He will be,
and it's not like
he to come in and get outs.
A lot of guys, they throw really hard, like a Strider, like they throw really hard. So I get it this early in the season if you want to rest those guys. Colin McHugh is like, if you look at his baseball savant page, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because
everything's red except
all the way red except his velo. It's like, completely the other way. Yep. So I mean, he's not even a guy that relies on velocity. He could have easily been used in that spot. So it was interesting. Another thing that happened with Jansen there was he got a double play ball and Votto got in the way of it.
That's right.
And it caused them, and it would have ended the game. And Votto threw Dansby off. And, Votto's doing his job. Like, he's trying to win a baseball game too. So if he can
distract. Yeah.
If he can mess Dansby up, that's his whole goal. So that's fine. Not a really
also that we had Arcia as our DH because there was a lefty on the mound. Then all of us were like, "Oh my God, Arcia!" And he got 2 RBIs.
And he had a good game.
All right, maybe in the 9th spot against lefties, we'll give it a shot.
Hey, he also hit a ball really hard that almost went into the fence. So, I'm not trying to sell anybody.
I absolutely will take hard contact for an out over strikeouts. I'm the all day, every day. Like, I know 100%. People want to see the results, but I'm like, you're going to get results from that more than you're going to get results from a strikeout. So I'll take that.
I mean, hard contact is the best way to score. Like, that's
exactly.
I mean, yeah, sure, walks, that's great. I don't think RC is ever going to take a walk unless it's intentional, which he doesn't have a pitcher hitting behind him anymore, so it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Travis d'Arnaud had a great game that game.
Our guy.
Yeah, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs.
I'm like, again, we're only looking at a few games, but I'm like, if he goes back to what he did in 2020, even close to that, then that's, I mean, that changes a lot of
that.
Right. I'm saying, even something that
yeah
changes a lot of the outlook about the lineup.
And he just doesn't break his thumb. Like, that would be cool.
Oh God, don't put it into the universe. Yeah.
Duvey had a big double. Ozuna got his first hit back. Riley, 2 walks. 2 walks, 1 game. I always think it's, to me, anytime, I almost like seeing a guy get, especially a guy like Riley, get 2 walks over 2 hits, because that tells me that they are seeing it, man. Like, they are going to have.
Walks as good as a hit. That's what they taught me in softball. Walks as good as a hit. Walks as good. And Dansby walked twice too.
Hey.
So to go from 4 strikeouts to 2 walks, I was like, okay.
So wait, he walked
on base.
Oh, okay, this was Duvey walked in the other game. So okay.
Yeah. So Dansby had 2 walks and Riley had 2 walks. So they had 7 walks total. Yeah. So they had a pretty good offensive game that they were getting on base and bringing guys in and all that stuff. So
should have probably scored more than we did, but we didn't.
That's
okay. We had enough to win the game. Just enough. But we got there. So Braves win game 2, 7-6. And hey, first W of the season. Everybody's feeling good. You get that, like Snit said, I get tired of looking at that goose egg. And I really do every year, because the last 4 years in a row, we have lost on opening day. And every year, I just like, after we lose opening day, I almost have like this little crisis going on until we win. And I'm like, I just can't get it out of my head. And, getting that first win, it just showed me that we got the same team that we had in the postseason. Because every time they would lose a game in the postseason last year, they would come back the next day and they would put out a solid win. Like, not just a win, a solid win. Yeah. So it was it's nice to see they still got that in them. So we're kind of the midway point of the series there. We can talk about the rings.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Rings.
It's insane. Like, I mean,
there was just so many little details in that ring that I love. I never would have thought about those things, but it was just such a beautiful nod to
everything that
all
happened.
The aspects of the season.
And it just makes you just like I'm so happy for the players that is the final product that they get to keep in their, on their shelf, or, I'm sure they'll wear them to some events and stuff like that. But you don't carry that around very often.
I was just like, I'd be afraid to have that in my house. I'm like looking at everything that's in there. I just pulled it up with the details here. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I told my wife, I'm gonna see if Dad wants to go down to Atlanta and buy me a $25,000 hamburger. And she was just like, yeah, good luck with that. I was like, all right, it's worth a try. So
I'm like, but now apparently they're having multiple replica ring nights. I'm like, if I can finagle that, if it's during a weekend or something, I really might, because I wanted to go down there anyway. And I was just trying to figure out like when and what series. So like, if they do that in advance, I might try to, because it's just really cool. It'd be a cool thing to have.
Well, I'm going down this year at some point.
Yeah.
So it would be awesome if I could work it out to be that weekend. I hate it. I hate being on Twitter with all these, great people that we know on Twitter, but all of them talk about being at games all the time and stuff. And I'm just like,
I know.
I hate it, but I love it for them. That's fucking awesome. It's kind of the dream. Like, I've even talked to my wife about being like, hey, look, everybody needs welders, there's welders everywhere. So I've even kind of tried to nudge it that way. And then we adopted the baby and it was like, yeah, family's here. So, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I can make it down there for one of those, I'd really like to.
I'm thinking about the Angels series because that's my birthday weekend. So I'm like, I'm maybe for that. So
there's also a couple guys who play for the Angels I'd like to see play baseball.
Yeah.
Shohei and Mike Trout. I've been
that'd be pretty cool too. That'd be pretty cool too.
I've been wanting to see Mike Trout for 3 years. He was supposed to come in 2020. COVID screwed that up. And then it was like, okay, well, he's not supposed to come in 2021, but the All-Star game is going to be here. So Mike Trout's going to be an All-Star, right? Mike Trout actually ended up not being an All-Star because of the injury. But everybody was like, it was like, that was the first thing I thought. I'm going to the All-Star game and I'm going to go see Mike Trout. And then All-Star game got taken away.
Like, oh, man.
So yeah. And then this year he's going to be there. So I really want to be there for that series if possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was in Anaheim. I was out there for work and then I stayed the weekend to visit a couple of friends who live out there. And so we went to an Angels game. I forget even who they played, but I saw Mike Trout's 999th hit. So every time he came out to it, we're like 1,000. So I didn't get to see his 1,000th hit.
Yeah.
But I did get to see him play. So
my sister is a big, and we'll get back to the ring in just a second. But my sister is not a big baseball fan. Like, she grew up in our household. My dad and I were huge baseball fans. She just, she just didn't take to it the way we did. And she calls me, and this is last year, probably like September, maybe September. I was like, hey, or no, I called her and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm in Cleveland. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. What are you doing? I'm about to go to an Indians game. I was like, oh, that's cool. She's like, yeah, that Japanese guy is pitching tonight. I was like, yeah, what? I was so mad. I called my dad and I was like, she's going to see Shohei. I was like, that little bitch. I was so mad at her. But yeah. So, that's cool though. She got to see Shohei. One day I will too. So, but the ring.
And especially because we have the DH. So even if he's not pitching, he will get to hit.
And, next year, right? They're going to start doing.
Oh yeah, that's true. I hope they play in Anaheim, so I have an excuse.
They'll play in every city, or every year they'll play in every city.
I guess they're going to play every team. I don't know how they'll do the series and who goes where. But
okay, so I think
they will play all those
probably
teams.
Every other year.
But I would think that next year they should be in Anaheim because if they were in Atlanta this year. But I guess I don't know how they're going to do the whole thing.
Right.
If it's going to be an opposite thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll get to see him at some point.
Yeah.
Anyways, the ring.
Onto the ring.
Like you said, there's so many good aspects that they just. And they said, Jock was all involved with it. And I think they said he had 20 players in a group chat talking about, hey, let's do this and let's do that. And like, what's so cool is that the team took them seriously. And they could have been like, dude, we're not putting a pearl on it. We're not going to put the We Are Those on there. They could have been assholes about it. They really could have. But looking at the ring, it looks like they let the players design that ring.
It's just so perfect. Yeah, I'm like looking at the picture with all the details of him. It's so it opens up and it lights up. I mean, come on, get out of here with that.
That was Derek Schiller's idea. They said
the first time that's ever been done. Like, I wanted to see like it open and lit up. Like you didn't really get a close up of like someone actually showing off how the lights were.
I did see one guy do it, but I can't remember who it was. And it wasn't close enough to be able to see it. It was like he was holding it back here and he like flipped it open. So they didn't like show down inside of it. Like they should do that. That would be awesome.
I want to see what that is. Yeah. But it's just all the pearl, I feel like, is just the perfect touch. I saw someone be like, the pearl it was such a gimmick with Jock. I can't believe they did that. And it's like, a pearl is a totally respectable like jewel, first of all, and it's just one. I feel like it was so well done with the pearl.
Yeah, because they could have done subtle like nod, a stream of pearls or whatever, but they didn't.
Right.
Like just the one little pearl, and it was like, man, yeah. Somebody was like, I saw somebody say Jock Peterson was only with the Atlanta Braves for 3 months, but he's got a World Series ring designed after him, and it's like, yeah, he does. But you know what?
He was the leader of designing the ring.
He was the guy, man. Like Alex Anthopoulos, bringing him in was just huge. So yeah. What was your favorite part of the ring?
Oh God, it's so hard to say my favorite part. I honestly think just the one pearl there is really, really nice touch. And then it lights up, I guess, is super awesome. And I like, there's so many different things, the way that like each of the rubies for the home runs, like there's so many things that you could look at, and
there's 1,000 little things on that.
And like just the little sword.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I was like, look, it's a pink sword. My wife was like, it's red. I was like, it's pink. I was like, it's gonna be pink.
I'm calling it pink.
Yeah.
But just so many little, and I feel like when you see it from the front, like a lot of the salty fans of other teams are like, oh, that's horrible. It's so gaudy and big and ugly. And I'm like, one, you didn't look at all the details of it. Two, you don't understand the details of it. Yeah. Guaranteed this was your team, you'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I understand part of it comes from like an envy, because I get that. I remember when we saw the Nats ring, it was like, oh, this is so dumb. I remember being like, oh my God, this is too much. And like the way they described why they did certain things, I was like, yeah, part of me was envious that they had.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
of course.
I get it.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't want the Nationals to be the team to win the World Series, but when they got there, it wasn't that. It was when the Cardinals beat us, and then Mike Schilt said they started this fight. We like, fucking ended it. I was like, ugh. Yeah. And like I had friends who were Nats fans, and I was like, in these motherfuckers. And I mean, after the Braves lost, I rooted for the Nats. I'll admit it. Yeah. I feel like the postseason changes your allegiances depending. It does.
Who they're against, and
you get excited for teams and stuff. I don't think I'll ever do that for the Phillies or the Mets.
No.
It's weird how much more I hate those two teams than the other teams, and it's not because
the Mets. I don't. For me, it's the Phillies. The Mets, I don't really mind so much. I don't want them to be better than the Braves, but I have friends who are Mets fans, and I'm like, for their sake, I kind of hope that they get to see success. But obviously, I want the Braves to be better.
Yeah, and growing up, it was the Mets. Because it was the John Rocker stuff, which now looking back, like John Rocker was, he's just an asshole. Like now that I am older, I'm not 8-9 years old, I understand why they hated him so much. But at the time, it was like, that's my pitcher. Why are you throwing batteries at my pitcher? That and Chipper Jones, they gave Chipper Jones hell, and so there was all that. But yeah, the Nats, it didn't really bother me. I don't even remember their ring.
I just remember there was something on it that there was
it the baby
and
shark?
The way I'm not sure if that was on there, but it was something about like the duality of franchise, because like they were the Expos and then they were so it was something that they had two with something, and it was like I remember duality was the word. I was like, what's this duality?
Somebody so I didn't realize that that's what they were referring to, but somebody did say that to somebody who was a Nats fan the other day about the duality of a franchise, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? So that must be what they were talking about then.
Duality of franchise history or something. I feel like this is dumb.
And they like, nobody who's a Nats fan was an Expos fan.
That's why it's funny with the Nats. I'm like, who's really like a lifelong Nats fan? I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of look at like, at least it's like fake fans to me. But anyway.
So anyways, the ring is amazing. And
what's your favorite part? I don't know.
Oh man,
we kind of already touched it, but it's so hard to say.
Actually, I haven't even mentioned my favorite part yet. My favorite part was the trade deadline being written.
Yeah, nice touch.
I was just like, the fact that they even thought, hey, like, I mean, sure, we all understand how valuable the trade deadline was, but like,
that's when it all changed.
That's when everything changed. And like, that was like, to me, that was just a nod to those four guys, like a way to say, hey, look, guys, we see what you did. Two of you are no longer here. Jock, we're going to give you a pearl anyways and a quote. And, they still acknowledged Duvall, Rosario. They acknowledged Soler. Like, I just think that was such a cool
just a like subtle thing on it. It's not like a huge part. It's just underneath, but it's like something that they're like, this was an important thing. And
nobody I don't even think anybody else noticed it before I did. because I found it by accident.
You did point that out. Yeah.
I was trying to pause. I kept trying to pause on the We Are Those, and like I missed it, and it was like boom, and it said 7:30. I was like, what the hell is that day? What the hell are they talking about? And then it just clicked. 7:30, July 30th. Oh yeah, the trade deadline was a day early this year or last year, and I realized, I was like, man, that is so cool. So yeah, that was my favorite part for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So game three.
I
know that was me and you were probably smiling that whole game. We were probably both just like, yep, that's it, there he goes. Kyle Wright,
good.
man.
Oh man, just
dude,
6 strikeouts. Just, you could just tell something was different. I mean, he has, so I don't know if it's, I know about like Charlie Morton's apparently been really mentoring him a lot. I don't know if it was just what he did in the World Series that's helped the confidence. I know you said he's been working with a mental health coach. I don't know if it's all of it combined, but like his stuff was like just working, and he was moving quick. And I think Contreras is that's good to have him as. So even if Contreras catches once a week,
might be his personal catcher until he goes back down, because it was weird to me when I first saw the lineup, and I was like, why is
I was like, why not Pena
catching? I was like, why is Pena not catching? And then later on, when I'm like watching Kyle, and I'm like, man, him and Contreras are really doing well together. And it just clicked. I was like, oh, because they spent
his AAA catcher.
All last year together. They know each other well. So it
was working.
It was a good touch. Contreras.
But chalk it up to whatever aspect, but whatever he was doing was working, and he just looked crisp.
I think you're right. More so than anything, it's his confidence. Like he looked like a completely different guy out there. Like last year before, especially in 2020, during the COVID season, like, he got more starts that year. And every time he would go out there, like you would see 2-3 innings when you're just like, this is it. Like, this is the guy that we've been waiting on. And then he would just fall
it's like he would, he'd get, a guy would get on or something, and it would kind of unravel. And it was like,
or
I guess yesterday he gave up a walk. Yeah. So he had 1 walk yesterday, 2 hits in 6 innings and 1 walk. That's incredible.
The 1 walk was the last batter he faced when they let him come out in the 7th inning. And like they already had Mentor up in the bullpen. So all of us just assumed, oh, Kyle Wright's not coming back out. And nobody would have batted an eye. We would have been like, dude, understandable. First start of the season, short spring. And then
I was surprised he went 6. So
it was like, hey,
7.
Go back out there, man. And he and I think he even got ahead of that batter, but he just, his stuff wasn't as crisp after however many pitches he threw. What did he throw? Like 80 some?
Why is it showing? 76 pitches.
Oh, okay. Well,
which your first start is.
Yeah, he had very limited stuff in spring. So
he just was to be at only 76 pitches through 6. I mean, I just loved everything. And it's like, obviously we're not going to get it 6 innings of no run ball but like just that to be the first start of the season is huge.
Yeah. But
just something to go off of. And
if you can pencil him in for 5 and 2 runs or less every 5th day, man, what a
change. It really changes. Yeah. That's why he's the X factor. I feel like he really, if he can, be a sub 3 ERA, I mean, we'll say, but like, I mean, that changes everything about the rotation.
He can be a sub 4 ERA.
That's true. I guess he's going to be our number 3. It's the way that it lined up, but
yeah. And the way Anderson pitched today.
Oh goodness.
So, okay. Anyways, Mentor came in and did a phenomenal job after Kyle Wright allowed that walk, by the way.
Strikeout.
Yeah. He got 1 strikeout. He struck out Joey Votto, which is hard to do. Like Joey Votto was amazing. Every time him and Juan Soto are the 2 guys that just like when they step into the batter's box,
it's going to be a good at bat.
I can't look away because I'm just like, I want to see the pitches that they lay off of. And I know that's a weird thing. And like people who don't watch baseball a lot, they wouldn't understand. They'd be like, why do you want to see that? Because there's nobody who has a better understanding of the strike zone than Joey Votto and Juan Soto. And it's just, it's incredible. So yeah, I mean, to strike out Joey Votto was awesome. And then he got 2 pop-ups to end the inning.
Yeah, stranded the runner. Yeah.
Yep. And O'Day had a good inning.
Yes, he did.
And then Will Smith got the save. He gave up that run on that little, whatever the hell you want to call that, Joey Votto hit.
I'm ready to be done. Let's think about these teams like the Reds and the Nats and whoever that aren't supposed to be good, but they that's the kind of stuff they do. Trying to hit homers, like they're just like put the ball in play and that kind of, and then so it's so frustrating because you're just like, this team isn't supposed to be good. Yeah. So stop. Like, why are we? How
stop
do we have to
losing to this team that I already
that's what's
anticipated them to be bad at baseball, even though they are all major leaguers, every single one of them. Yeah, I'm with you. It was when he hit that ball, I was just like, oh, okay, that's soft ground ball. And then they just showed it nobody. It was just like, oh.
Yep.
Okay. Well, It is what it is. And, Olsen again in that game. Couple of hits. Yeah. Double. I think that was his first double. Oh, that was actually when he got his first hit, right?
No, he got his first hit on
Friday. First hit in that game. Yeah. He had a double in that
game.
He did.
He had 2, I think. So I guess it was Friday night. It was a double and 2 singles. And then I guess he was maybe 2 singles. No, he had another double, I think, yesterday. I looked at all of it.
He had 2 hits. He had a single and a double. And then he walked.
And then he walked.
Yeah. And then he scored a run. And then he got thrown out at home twice.
Oh, that's the other thing. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize he had lead shoes.
Yeah. Oh man. It was just like the first time they sent him, I was like, ooh.
Both times were very close. I mean, both required very precise
close. But when they were like,
but any other runners had it safe.
I was just like, why are they sending him? Like, what is happening here? But it's Wash.
Yeah, I had no idea how slow he was. But Wash learned, and then today you could see he was like, the stop sign.
Yeah, he did. And they were giving him a hard time about you saw Darno running the base. Man, that's good stuff, dude. See, he's already fitting in that club.
I love them. Yeah, apparently he was like, I went to Travis about running advice and stuff. Yeah, so he fits in, and they're having fun already.
And I mean it takes away that feeling of, oh God, how's this clubhouse going to react to not having Freddie Freeman? They seem to be reacting fine. So I am not.
And just the fact that it only took him like one game to get his first hit, which is like one thing that you just like want to get done. Okay, I got my first hit. But then he's already got, he's got a double extra. Like, so I feel like it's just like the pressure is off for that. Like, I have to perform, like it's clear that it's like when he was saying, I'm just trying to be Matt Olson, is like, it seems like he wasn't worried about any of that pressure. He did
Matt Olson looks a whole lot better than Freddie Freeman right now. And I'm not saying that he is. Freddie Freeman is a future Hall of Famer, but it is just like
to see that immediate result of what he can do is I love it.
Alex Anthopoulos has to just be sitting up in his suite, just grinning ear to ear, just like, he's just smitten, I'm sure. So anyways,
just like even when he hit that double and he did like the sword slash, and I'm just like, he wants to be here. And I'm like, I was saying earlier, I was like, there's got to be some extra motivation when you're watching guys get a ring for a championship you weren't a part of. There has to be an extra thing in there that you're like, I want that.
Yeah, he said that. They asked him about it, and he said, I've got a front row seat to what I want to accomplish here. And I was like, what a great thing to say. Like, let's do it.
Fire me up.
So that was good stuff. And then Riley reached base 2 more times that game. Ozuna 3 for 4, 2 doubles.
Would have had a couple RBIs.
I was about to say he probably should have had 3 or 4 RBIs, but it didn't work out.
Luckily we won that game because that was frustrating when you're like, oh, if Wash had held him or like those, what happens. But luckily we won, so there's no what if with that one. But
funny today when we scored our first run, it was Olsen at third. Ozuna
the sack fly.
This shallow sack fly.
I was like, oh no, is that deep enough?
Yeah. And then in the in the dugout, Marcel's like, so that
got it just far enough.
That was kind of fun. Like, good job. Yeah. So that was good stuff. Dansby got his first hit in that game. It was a double. Had another hit today. So he's coming around,
I feel like he's just being what Dansby is. It's just like we kind of know what he's gonna strike out a lot. Occasionally he'll luck into one and hit one out. You know, he will get his hits. So he's hitting 8th or 9th. I guess that's, you know, whatever.
If my 8 or 9 guy can hit me 20 homers, I'm good with that. I mean, Dansby Swanson just gets so much hate because number one guy. I mean, I know we talk about it all the time, so it's we're just beating that horse to death. But I hope that Dansby Swanson goes and makes a bunch of money in the off season and just like, some other. It's not going to be here, I don't think. I
mean, unless he puts up my prediction, the 30 home. Unless he puts up a 30 homer,
and he might
here or something. I don't know. They might cut ties. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But
yeah, I just think that they're gonna. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is if they do let Dansby walk, but I don't think that they are. Yeah, I'm with that. But
no, I know.
You can't. A home run today, by the way, for my fantasy
league. The third deck. Yeah, but you can't. Obviously, let him walk and assume that you can get one of those guys, a Trey Turner or Xander Bogaerts or whatever across.
Unless,
so that's where you have to.
Well, see, that's
take the chance.
I think that conversation is already being had because we just entered the season with Dansby Swanson as our shortstop, knowing that it's his free agent year, knowing that he has the exact same representation as Freddie Freeman, who said he wasn't going to negotiate during the season. Yeah. So I think that they're already saying Derek Schiller has to already be telling Alex, when this season's over, go get somebody because
right. I think no matter what it is, I'm sure they have a plan. They always have a plan.
Think about how much money they made this weekend. That place has been packed every day. And, the Battery, they're making a ton of money there. All of the sales for the new jerseys, everything, all the championship stuff, all the rings drop. People are dropping money on those. People are dropping $800 or $700 on one of those replica rings. And I'm just like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. I spent $200 on one of those necklaces, but it was so cool. It was like the trophy with
the trophy with,
but it was like $200 for the Suncast medal. And it was like $900 for the actual gold. I was like, I'm not spending $900. I don't need the gold because then I'd be afraid to wear it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll do $200 for them. But I was like, I've spent so much money with all this World Series stuff. So what's another $200?
Yeah. So there you go. You spent $200 on one necklace. You're one person.
Yeah. Right. So how many people are just buying things when they're like, oh, you release it? I wasn't going to buy any of the gold collection. Then I bought a cap, a pennant, banner thing, and a free jersey. So I'm like,
so you got a
again
jersey, motherfucker. I know. I wanted one,
but I only did it because I bought the cap because I liked that, and then I was like, let me look a little, and I saw the felt, the pennant thing, kind of like this one here, but it was the gold one.
Yeah. I saw the one,
and then I was like, well, I need to get the free shipping. I was like, let me just get this, and I was like, oh, they have the youth one in Freed, and it's a little cheaper. So I was like, let me get that.
A little cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. Yeah.
I was like, oh, but maybe I'll return it because Fanatics has free return. And then I'm like, no, actually, maybe I'll keep that. So I haven't gotten it yet. So we'll see.
Within I think it was 30 minutes after they posted it, I went to try to buy a free jersey. They were gone. I was like,
and they definitely had Freed. It's not just that
they did.
Okay.
They did. In fact, they restocked them later, or they didn't restock them later. They just put up the rest of what they had, and it was all small and medium.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge guy, but I'm a little bit bigger. I'm extra large, 2X, whatever. And I was just like, man, they're gonna have to restock that sooner or later, hopefully. But
you said you wanted Riley too. So did you get anything?
I didn't get anything. When I went to that night, I went to buy one. And they were sold out extra large and 2X in everything. Everything men's was sold out in extra large 2X. I thought I found something last night, but it was too big. It was it was the authentic jerseys. And they were $340. but they only had like 4x. So I was like, well, I'm not getting that, so I can't swallow me. But
I'll be swimming in that thing. Yeah.
So
well, so hopefully they'll re-release some stuff.
But
or like if you can find someone to get it in the Clubhouse store for you, like I did.
I'm sure that I can. Sooner or later. But back to the point there. I think that they're ready to go out and spend big on a shortstop if they have to. They're prepared for it for sure.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting also at the trade deadline what they do.
I didn't think about that.
If they have the money, yeah.
I don't know who would be available.
Starting pitcher. Yeah, and especially with the additional playoff team in each league, you're gonna have more teams like going for it. Less teams probably selling, but
unless like the Twins fall out and then they like convince or like they trade for Correa. I'm not even kidding. Like they trade for Correa.
Dream scenario.
Yeah, they trade for Correa, right?
And you want Dansby here?
And they're like, hey, like they take him and they win another World Series, and we have 2 World Series in a row. And they're like, hey, for $35 million, we can do this again next year. And he's like, yes, we'll do it. Man, yeah.
We're going to have the late 90s, early 2000s Yankees dynasty. I can't imagine that feeling of having 3 World Series in a row. Like what? And then being in it for the next year. I can't even imagine what that's like.
Well, they were in it 97, or no, they weren't 97, 96, 98, 99, 2000. They all won. 4 out of 5 years they won.
Yeah. And then they were in it.
And then 2000, they almost won. Or no, 2001, they almost won. They went to 7 games. And then, so I don't know. We'll see.
I can't imagine that.
It'll be fun, but I know Dansby's probably gone. So
it feels like that's what's happening, especially if he just if he just kind of is average. But we have 158 and plus, hopefully at least, many more.
Yeah. 100 and how many?
To see what he's got.
You need 169 to win a World Series. Yeah. So
no, 173 because there's an election. There's the extra series.
Oh yeah, they
unless
changed it.
We're the 1 or 2 seed. Yeah, because
I'm excited about it. It's gonna be fun.
9, 10, 11.
We're gonna get in the postseason.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just get into the postseason.
It's game 4. We're in the postseason. Let's go. So, anyways, back to game 4. Today's game didn't turn out the way we expected. I think we all expected to see a little bit more from Ian Anderson, but I saw you made the joke about the great toe. Maybe
great toe must be getting to him.
Maybe that's the problem. What the hell is a great toe?
But Hunter Green looked good.
Just disgusting. Dude.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those you can't. Just looking at the stuff he was, and it was very interesting that like second time through the lineup, it was like an immediate. You could tell that they were.
Oh yeah.
Ready. So that's why it was like, it's just an adjustment in the league that it's what you're going to see.
Well, I thought it was funny.
So much better the next time through the lineup and the third.
It was. I thought it was funny that as soon as Eddie Rosario finished his first at bat, Francoeur said something about, he was like, oh yeah, like Marcell Ozuna is probably going to walk right up to him and ask him what's going on. Because Chip, he always says this, well, word gets down the bench pretty quickly, blah, blah, whatever he says. And then as soon as he said that, they cut to a picture of Marcell Ozuna talking to Eddie, and he's like, like pointing around, like he's doing exactly what he just said he was going to do. So yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. And I know players do that. So it was just, in the second time around, man, like
an immediate change.
It immediately.
Yeah.
Olsen got that. I thought that ball that Riley hit was going out. I don't know how.
At least we scored one of those runs, but I would have been so mad if both those guys got left. Man. But yeah, it was one of those fly balls where you're like, oh my gosh, it's going out. No, it's being caught. Okay, it's a double.
That's what I thought. It was caught. I was
it's like the train of like, what's happening? And I guess could have and maybe should have been caught, but I mean, just dead center. And that's the thing is like, stop hitting the ball to dead center so we can go out.
Well, the first thing I thought was, oh no, it's going to be caught. Matt Olson's probably almost a third already. There's no way this guy is getting back to first base. No way in hell. Yeah.
Luckily, we had a middle ground there.
We got lucky there. Yeah, he crushed that baseball. Crushed it.
Oh, he did. I thought it was going off the bat. I was like, sure.
I thought it was too. I mean, actually, to be honest, I didn't see it. I just heard it. I had the baby sitting in front of me, her little walker. So I was like feeding her a little like little pouch thing, whatever. So I was like looking at that and I heard like, that sound. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then
what
I was
happened?
like, oh, there goes. Oh no.
And Chip, no matter what, if it's anywhere close to the warning track, he's like, and it's a high. So, but like,
and he got me hard with that. And he's like, I thought it was gone. Yeah, we know.
You always think it's gone. No surprise there.
Yeah. It's like, and then Sean Newcomb.
Okay, I guess we can get it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it was that Ian just didn't have it.
Ian didn't have it.
Took 30 pitches to get out of the first inning. He was a little bit wild. He somehow got out of it, but then you could just tell it didn't.
Hopefully, next time around he'll be more of Ian. But I don't know. He didn't have anything today. Maybe his curveball. But I mean, his fastball was so wild and erratic. His changeup actually looked okay, but Ian is just not good if his fastball is not there. If his fastball command is off, like his off speed stuff, just whatever. Like, because I mean, they can just sit on the off speed stuff at that point, and that's exactly what
he has it all working.
Yeah.
So, and then Newcomb, I remember at one point I thought it was like the bases were loaded, and I thought that's when they were going to bring Newcomb in. I'm like, really, Newcomb in a bases loaded situation? But anyway, he came in and gave up the 2 runs anyway. So, but it's just there was that should be double play that is hard to not look back on. He was safe, the guy was safe, but it was because it was like I feel like a better throw gets him, and we're out of ending. It's 1-0. You don't know what happens,
and that was the closest thing to the quote unquote tie goes to the runner that I have seen in the replay era. I was like, I literally can't tell.
Yeah, it was one of those. If he was called out, he's out. If he was safe, he was safe.
Yeah, there's no way to overturn that either way. Yeah. So, I mean, and I even tweeted that. I was like, it's too close. Like,
I didn't expect them to.
And of course, everybody in the stands, they've been drinking or whatever, and they're all like, "He's safe, yeah, he's safe." They're all screaming. It's like, dude, come on, like, how can you overturn that? If they overturned that against us, we'd be fucking pissed. We'd be furious. We would be tweeting a storm. Yeah. Right. So there's no way. Travis Garneau went oppo.
He really did. I mean, he took what was like 99, and just took it to the right field.
No, I think it was one. I think it was like 110 miles an hour.
Olson's was one. No, I'm talking about the pitch. The pitch was like 99 miles.
Oh, I did see. Yeah, another one that I wasn't. I'm feeding the baby when that happened too. I was looking down, and then I heard it, and I looked up.
You gotta keep feeding the baby if we're gonna get big hits.
You do. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's like she's not hungry.
I mean, she eats all the time, so it's possible.
We have to wait till the Braves are up to feed her. Yeah, but it was like anyway. I have to look at the. But I'm pretty sure it was like a 99-mile-an-hour pitch that he just took into the chop. I was like, and it just went over. It was,
and they did say early in the game that Hunter Green's fastball was reportedly pretty flat. So, I mean, clearly they started to see the fastball a lot better. Because I mean, they were just crushing that fastball after that. But
I'm trying to find the video of it because I'm curious how many. Let's see. Yeah, it was 99, and he took it into the chop. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. But then I guess we get into the big one.
Yeah, Matt Olson's first homer.
Matt Olson. That one, I actually didn't expect that to go out. That was truly dead center, and I'm watching, and I mean, I let out the biggest yell. I was so excited.
I did too. I was like,
yeah. My neighbors were like, "What is she yelling about?"
I was feeding the baby.
So,
and yeah, right. When he hit it, I stopped feeding the baby. And I just jumped up and I was like, oh, and I did actually see that one because I was just watching. And I was just like, Chip had just said after Matt Olson trots around the bases, and I was like, damn it, Chip, why would you say that?
Yeah.
And then just
like he is
boom. I was like, oh, there he goes. Oh, it's gone. Oh shit.
That was just and that pitch I believe was 101 miles per hour.
Yeah. I did see that. And
just with ease. So I'm just really loving his swing. And I
love everything.
It's funny because when he was I knew of him, but I don't follow the A's that much. So I remember he was like in the home run derby, and obviously he holds the bat kind of, and I remember like, oh, that swing is so sort of odd how he holds the bat there, and I'm like, love it. It grew on me a lot once he was in a Virginia. But it's a very interesting swing, but it's just so smooth, and I feel like it's.
See, I never paid a ton of attention to the A's either because they're on the West Coast, and now if there is a West Coast team that I like, it's always been the A's. I remember the 2012 A's, like fell in love with the A's in 2012.
It's like a team that it's hard not to like them. It's just
Well, do you remember? It was 2012. Okay, they went into the final weekend with the Rangers, and they were down 2 games, 3-game series in Oakland. They were down 2 games. They had to sweep to win the division. And they swept the Rangers. They spent 1 day in first place that season. It was their very last day. And I was just like, man, like that's so fun. And I just remember watching Jesse Chavez was on that team. They were just, Oakland fans are so fun, beating on the drums and like making all the noise and making all those like posters and stuff like that. What a fun like atmosphere. Because you just don't have that in other places in baseball. So, but, I knew Matt Olson was really good, but I never realized how good Matt Olson was until I saw, there was a lot of speculation that Alex Anthopoulos wanted him. And I was like, I like Matt Olson. I just don't know if that's an adequate replacement for Freddie. And then I looked at his Baseball Savant page and I was like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Let's go do that. Yeah. So
let's pull that trigger, eh?
Yep.
But I remember even joking during the parade when like Dansby was like, "Oh, re-sign Freddie," like when he made and I remember tweeting and jokingly like, "AA like closes the Fangraphs page on Matt Olson." Like, and I was just like,
shit.
"Oh, wait a second."
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Another thing, or 2 other things that I wrote down real quick, is Colin McHugh was disgusting today.
That one curveball that I don't know if I forget who he struck out, but it was just
there was like 40 of them, but yeah, he's just filthy.
Keep doing that. Yeah. And it's one of those situations. It's like, obviously Newcomb came in, and I feel like Snit and just the organization, they do have their sort of old school, like we joke about the bullpen like flow chart, and like it was probably Newcomb's coming in to relieve Anderson if he doesn't make it past the 3rd or whatever. But it's like, in a situation like that, why are you not just bringing in a Strider or a McHugh to just put out the fire, and then you bring Nuke in for a clean inning? There seems like little things that you could do that they just don't. It's like, he's the next guy. Sorry, it's Nuke. I don't care. And it's like, he would do that with Tomlin last year. And it's like, bases are loaded. Don't just, so it's frustrating, but.
Yeah. I felt that way a lot last year. And I had to ultimately like tell myself, like, look, they know a little bit more about what they're doing.
I know.
Than we do.
It's easy to be the Twitter manager. But.
Yeah, it's easy to be a Twitter manager. I do agree. Like, to me, on like 3rd inning, 5-0, like that's, or no, I think it was 3-0 before Newt came in, right?
He came in.
So it was like, or no, it was only 2-0 because didn't he throw a wild pitch and allow a run?
I think that moved the runners up because then the single scored 2. Okay. So I think it was 3-0.
So it was 3-0, and I'm thinking, okay, 3-0 is not insurmountable by any means.
And we scored 3 runs.
So So, yeah, I'm with you there, but at the same time, like I was also on board with the, let Newt give up 10 runs so they can DFA him tomorrow and bring somebody else up or whatever. Yeah, but it's like,
I don't know.
We're never gonna move on from that. I don't have an answer there. So.
It is frustrating. And then like he came in and had like obviously he gave that home run, but he had like one really good inning. I'm like, and then he's gonna do that, and they're like, yep, this is why he's on the team. He can do that, and it's like,
I know that's
what I thought. So we have to get rid of him.
I wanted him to like just mow people down for like 3 innings, and then I was gonna tweet, I still don't want Sean Newcomb on my team because he might do that today, but next week, whenever we all get real confident in him, because he had one good outing, he's going to come out and he's going to walk the world. Yep. And So I have no faith in Sean Newcomb ever being able to be a solid, consistent.
Yeah, it's the consistency. Exactly.
And I hate that for Sean Newcomb because I like Sean Newcomb.
Yeah. You know, it's not, it's like nothing against him as a person.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is what it is. So
yeah.
I did write down one thing about the series for Matt Olson. 8 hits and 3 walks. He was 8 for 14 with 3 walks.
Yep.
Well,
so he's hitting 571 and his OPS is 1576.
I mean, that's completely sustainable. So
totally. I mean, he's obviously winning the MVP.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, we're just giving that out this weekend. And
he's winning. He wins the opening weekend MVP.
He might win.
He probably does. I can't imagine. I have to look at. Obviously, I wasn't following every single game of every team.
Come on.
He's got to be up there in the running.
I mean, how could anybody? If anybody else played better than that this weekend,
yeah,
I didn't hear about it. So,
yeah, I mean, you can ask for more from first weekend with your new team, and
no, you can't.
It just shows that there was no pressure. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he's like, I have to do well. It just shows that he went out there and was like, I'm just being myself, and this is what happened. So,
yep, yeah, I agree.
Hopefully, it continues against the Nats.
It's insanity how good his first weekend in a Braves uniform was. Almost too good, because now people are going to be like, and he struggles, they're going to be like,
and he goes over 4 with 2 strikeouts. Yeah.
Shut up.
But I also just love that for his first at bat, he got the standing ovation. I love that everyone's
kind of on board, and I appreciate that, and I love it for Matt because he's at home, like to him, and I know he said like, oh, have you seen the score of the Dodgers game?
Oh, I just was watching it. I had it on.
Oh.
It's 9-4. It's over right now.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see how a certain expert.
Oh, how did he do?
And he didn't do great. 1 for 5. He's got 2 singles as a Dodger. He's hitting 167.
Our first baseman would never.
No, never, ever.
Yeah, no, but I had it on mute, so I saw that. I'm like, okay, I would say it's like obviously it's the first weekend, but there's something satisfying about.
I hate it for Freddie, but it's certainly satisfying. They lost the series to Colorado.
Yeah.
Like
it's like more so the Freddie thing, and just the Dodgers losing the series.
Yeah,
obviously we split, so it's not like you could be like, oh, we dominated and swept, but
we did. What do you mean?
Oh, wait a second, yeah, the alternate universe.
I mean, yeah. Whatever. I'm good with taking 2 out of 4. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I just kind of figured that would happen. So I'll take it. You didn't lose the series,
right?
So now we'll get into obviously this week coming up and make some predictions there. But
I agree.
I'll take that
actually, that's where I was going to go next. Was the home run pool. I got a point.
Somebody got a point.
Can
I get a point for saying 2-2? No.
Sure.
We'll just put points for random things and at the end of it.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, sure.
That was a prediction and I got it right.
It was a prediction. You got it right. So yeah, we'll call it tied. I kind of, I took what I thought was a safe bet at a 3-1 series win, and just didn't work out. So.
Yep.
I don't know.
It happens.
Have you got a guy for this week yet? Have you thought about it at all?
I'm not picking Duvall, and hopefully now he'll hit 3 because I don't pick him. Because I'm like, please, like, and it was funny. Like
hit 1.
His first step out against Green today, I was like, he's gonna come in and just swing away at 3 sliders, and it was like some of the pitches he swings at. I'm like, he's just such a guess hitter sometimes, and it's like when he gets into one, it's like.
I think he just assumes like they're gonna throw me a fastball at some point. So I'm just going to swing as hard as I can, and it's just not going to work out. So,
man, oh man. All right. So do you have your guy for this week? Cause I'll think for a second if you have your guy.
I was thinking I'm going to go with Riley.
Okay. That would have been my thought, but I like that.
Sorry.
No, I'm going to say Darno then.
Okay. I'm going to say that was my other guy. I almost went with Darno.
Okay. So how many though for Riley?
I'm going to go with, I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna say 3. I'm saying it's 3 this week. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2 for Darnell.
We're playing the Nationals,
and
then we're playing the Padres. So Padres are good. They've got a good pitching staff. Austin Riley. That doesn't mean anything for Austin Riley.
No, so that's the good pitching stuff. Don't really scare this team. It was like I had said about
not at all.
The nobody pitchers that they'll struggle against, which luckily they didn't with that guy on Friday. They actually got some runs off him. But so I don't know who we're gonna face in this Washington series. We can get into that. But okay, so you say 3 for Riley. I'm saying 2 for Darnell.
Okay,
that's what I'm gonna say.
I'll say
we're still.
Let's see, week 2.
Yeah, we're still home for 3. So you're still.
And then 2. Okay. And I'm saying, why did I do that? Okay, Riley. 3. Okay.
Love it.
We'll see. All right. Now let's do the Nats series. Let's just do some predictions there. I think we're gonna go 2-1. I never predicted.
They don't even have a starting pitcher for tomorrow announced, so I don't know who they're.
Well, our starting pitcher is Wascarino. So.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm looking at them like, who do they? Because their first 4 guys obviously already pitched, but I don't know who else they even have. Because their opening day was Corbin, then they have Josiah Gray, who's pretty good. I forget who even pitched yesterday. Fetty was today, so I don't even know who they have. But I feel like 2-1, you have to take 2. You have to take 2 against.
You have to. No. Unacceptable if you lose this series, especially after what happened with them and the Mets. I mean, they didn't end up getting swept by the Mets, but they damn near did. And
we have Fried Wednesday, and you just hope he has a bounce back start.
Fried, I don't think he needs a bounce back start. I think Fried's fine.
Just do what he did. Yeah, I guess we just need to hope for better results from what he did last time. Yeah,
we just need those balls to fall in the right places because I mean. 54 mile an hour? Yeah, 54.1 mile an hour single. Come on. Like anywhere else, that's an out for sure. Unless it's an infield hit because it was hit so slow that nobody could get to it in time. Yeah. So I'm going 2-1 in that series. And then the other series is a 4-gamer.
I'd say we split.
Yeah, I think we split because we're on the road.
Yeah.
And
so 4 and 3 on the week.
Yeah. I still think we're I think we're a much more complete team than the Padres. The Padres just have a ton of starting pitching that they can throw at you. And the thing is, their starting pitching is a bit confusing at times. Like sometimes they look excellent. Sometimes they don't. The first 2
hopefully
games,
we're getting because I'm just sort of looking schedule wise. Hopefully we're getting more back end of their so did they play?
Yeah, but the back end of their rotation is
that's true. They do have pretty good
Musgrove and then
they have Weathers, and
Blake Snell, maybe something like that.
Yeah, that's true. So I'd take a split against them. They're a good team.
Yeah, I just think the first 2 games of the series against the Diamondbacks, their starting pitching didn't give up a hit in 13 innings. So I mean that's pretty damn good, but that's against the Diamondbacks. We are not the Diamondbacks, so I think we're going to be okay there.
I mean, we got no hit by the Diamondbacks last year.
Yeah, so I think I guess we're both taking them to go. Yeah, we did. God damn it. So I guess we're both taking them.
Oh, it's not saying much. 3? Yeah, so I would say yes. So 2-1, 2. So 4 and 3 overall. However that ends up, maybe we sweep the Nats and only go 1 and 3 against the Padres. But I would say I feel like worst case is 2-1 against the Nats. I feel like if they sweep us, that's really bad. If they take 2, that's pretty darn bad.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the Padres, we could go 3-1. I mean, you think about that, we swept them out there.
Yeah, we did. And,
but that was also when they were really on the decline, so it's hard to say. But I feel like a split feels.
But they don't have Fernando. So I mean, it's hard to see them as a juggernaut without their guy. But I mean, we'll have to see how that goes. So, outside of that, I think we pretty much covered everything. But next week is going to be a rough one going out on the West Coast. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so early for a West Coast trip.
Yep. Yes, it is. So, but get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that for this week, I guess that's going to be it. I guess next week we'll kind of dive into this stuff and see where we'll have a much better idea where we're at. Yeah. So, all right. Well, you guys have a good week, and we will see you next week on Beaneater Buzz.
All right. Take care, everyone.